Lessons from the iceberg. What you see is just the tip of the iceberg. The Arctic waters were calm that morning, a vast, glassy expanse stretching endlessly under the pale sun. Captain Elias had sailed these waters for 30 years, guiding his small research vessel through the icy labyrinth with quiet confidence. He knew the sea, or so he believed, but that morning, as the ship cut smoothly through the frigid waves, something caught his eye, a lone iceberg, drifting silently in the distance. Its jagged peak gleamed in the sunlight, a towering sculpture of ice. To any passing sailor, it was just another obstacle to navigate around. But Elias paused. He'd seen enough icebergs to know the truth. What you see is never the whole story. He adjusted the ship's course slightly, bringing them closer. His young first mate, Daniel, frowned. "Why bother? It's just ice," he said, shrugging. Elias didn't answer. Instead, he ordered the crew to lower a small sonar device into the water. As the readings came back, Daniel's eyes widened. Beneath the surface, the iceberg wasn't just large, it was massive. The visible tip was nothing compared to the colossal weight hidden below. Elias turned to Daniel, his voice steady. "That's how most things are in life. Son, what we see is just the surface. The real depth, the real danger, or beauty, lies beneath." Daniel stared at the water, silent. He'd spent his whole life assuming he understood the world by what was right in front of him. But in that moment, something shifted. Later that evening, as the ship anchored in a quiet cove, Elias found Daniel on deck, lost in thought. "You're thinking about what I said?" Elias observed. Daniel nodded. "It's like people, isn't it? We judge them by what we see, their smiles, their words, but we never really know what's beneath." Elias smiled faintly. "Exactly. And not just people. Our own struggles, our fears. We only acknowledge the surface. The rest stays buried, dragging us down without us even realizing it." Daniel thought about his father, a man he'd always seen as distant and cold. He'd resented him for years, never stopping to wonder what hidden currents shaped him. What pain, what unspoken battles lay beneath that stern exterior. The iceberg had been a mirror, reflecting back a truth he'd avoided. The next morning, Daniel sat down to write a letter, one he'd been putting off for years. He didn't know where it would lead, but for the first time, he understood that healing began with acknowledging the unseen depths. We all navigate our lives like ships on an open sea, skimming the surface, avoiding what we don't understand. But the iceberg teaches us a quiet, powerful lesson. What's visible is only a fraction of the truth. The rest, the weight of our past, the complexity of others, the hidden currents of our emotions, lies beneath, shaping everything. So the next time you find yourself quick to judge, or quick to dismiss your own struggles, remember the iceberg. Pause, look deeper, because understanding begins not with what's seen, but with the courage to explore what isn't. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching. And we look forward to seeing you in the next video.